All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Monday. It's the start of the trading week. Michael Venezia, the head trader and one of the coaches at TradeGATEHub, sponsored by Tradeview Markets. Let me turn off my screen so I don't get distracted by all the blinking lights and the movement. And I have the problem with that when I lay down at night. It's an occupational hazard. When I put my head on the pillow, all I see is flashing lights left and right. So I have to drink excessively and get that to stop until I wake up. I'm being facetious, but I don't want to get distracted. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of a different routine. I want to sign in just the way I sign in with everybody else. Market made a nice move, by the way. People are pinging me left and right. Okay. I'm going to go through this because I want everybody to realize that, as we go through the week and the data that I post being Monday, is the most important dynamic as things roll out through the week. I don't post data that's relevant on Monday, then Tuesday that's relevant. I want people to get a feel of sentiment, of flow, of backing with options. I back test everything with a piece of paper. You know what I mean? I got my boy Alexis, who's working with me. He back tests everything on a cup and handle work breakout. We're working on a couple of new systems. I've yet to find anybody, and I know some sharp dudes, believe me, that yet is to find an algorithm where they can just flip a switch, go play golf or go play cards and come back and make money. So we're lean and mean as ever. Let's get back to the Monday morning routine, okay? And I'm going to go through this because if people miss, they can watch the Monday video and at least see what I'm talking about, or at least show the routine if I don't necessarily explain every one of the posts. All right, so let's go to Monday morning. I actually posted Sunday night, so people will get really an idea. Okay, Sunday night. Okay, hedge fund exposure. They're short, i.e., the market's up today. All right, they're short individual stock. They're short individual stocks. Really not sure what they're long with doing with the indices yet. We'll get into that in a second. By the way, another great amenity at TradeGATEHub, picture in picture. You have me talking right now, and you have Coach doing a replay of his 9:30 video right there on the right. Ton of action. Two high-level opinions going off at the same time. It's incredible. It's like watching the Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys at the same time, even though they play in the same season? Actually, yes, they do. All right, hedge fund exposure. Credit default swaps hasn't been really an issue. It was teetering here, and everybody knows that's familiar with this room that the number one issue that's driving the market at this point is money, liquidity, and credit default swaps. By the way, if you can look at any time the market, credit default swaps were in this 500 area, the market of the S&P was a lot lower. Right here, 500. Market was lower. Here's the market here, up. So let's say 500. Right here is 500. Market was lower compared to the S&P. So it hasn't been an issue yet. It doesn't mean it's not going to be an issue. This is a Monday morning, and I wanted, I'm going to get more into specific about how I viewed this morning and how I traded. Let's finish with the routine. Okay. This is a short-term sentiment to start the week. It's iffy now. Let me pause Coach because he's so handsome. I get distracted. Systematic flows, Bank of America, go over at your own time. Short-term sentiment composite. We bounced off lows later in the week, which is why the sentiment was really, kind of still not oversold in the green, flashing a buy signal. Bear with me. And by the way, these are I post these. I try to post the same data and be consistent from what I've been told it. My 50 plus years that the key to being successful in any business is good and being consistent. Pardon me. I almost post this data almost in chronological order, if you will. Okay. Hedge funds sold staples over the fastest pace in 11 weeks. That's why they're up today. Goldman indicator. They're flinching. They're like the hedge funds. They don't really know what to do, but you know what? They're a little bit underweight positioning. Maybe they took some, somebody off the oils or rotated into something else. You really don't know yet. Basically, it's stock picking at this point for Goldman, or sentiment positioning, if you will. Smart, dumb money. Go over your own time. Sector sentiment. Once again, this will be irrelevant in a couple of days, but it might be irrelevant in a couple of days. But the sector sentiment, which I post on a regular basis, the theme is not. This particular post may be. It's not right now, though. Get familiar with it. Okay, what else we got? Fear and greed. All right, despite the double beat across the board, it's clearly a 50-day moving average, holding them on the big three. Citibank by today is down nicely. JP Morgan's up. It's a bifurcated even with this financials. This week's calendar. This is the playbook. All right. They show you a short volatility watch all week, General Motors. I covered that nicely. The 3-day tech event with AI. AI is talking with Roblox and ARM. I'm interested. I am. Although I did trade something poorly today. I'll get into a second. Let me put on my spectacles. BAC reporting tomorrow. Johnson & Johnson. Okay, here are the big things. You want to talk about best of breeds? They might be boom or a generation at best of breeds, but they still move the market. Earnings watches. Johnny John, Big Daddy. Goldman, the big fella. United Airlines, the other big fella. Lockheed Martin's been in play because of the war naturally. And Bank of America, okay, JP Morgan reported. So did Citibank. You see how they reacted. So Bank of America is more like the Walmart of banks, if you will. No disrespect. It's kind of the cheap bank. So let's see, how general deposits are. I'm not going to really break it down. The price action at these levels are more important than my sentiment. So we'll just go by the price action. What else do we have this week? Wednesday, earnings, Thursday, Friday. Okay, this week's major economic reports. For those that go over this and might want to watch this on our YouTube channel, double click it, double paste it, put it on your fridge, put it on your desktop, your saved area. This is also the part of the playbook. Key events this week. Again, that was very important. I want to know how Coach thinks about this. This, by the way, was my weekend conundrum. Okay, this was it. Since Thursday, the VIX has surged 20%, and the SPYs barely flinched. Who's lying? As of a late Monday morning, so far the VIX was lying because that's down nicely and the SPYs are up nicely. So that was something. I'm not kidding. I mean, I wasn't sure how this played out. The VIX usually lies a lot more than the SPYs. The VIX is like I don't know. The VIX is like a. Ugh. Anyway, IWM, critical zone. There it is. Brought on by our former guest, Jake. Okay, earnings this week. You know what? Here's a big. It doesn't. Okay, a couple of notes here that I took last night, and this is going to be a segue into earnings. Okay, earnings may get in the way of a lot of the bigger picture at this moment. What is the bigger picture? Algos, they seem to be set on like InstaCell, the past week. So credit swaps should hold or they drop. More geopolitical backdrop than actually economic news at this point. We showed you the calendar here. There is a bullish bias on pullbacks. CTAs are certainly selling. Look for more red to green moves this week. Buy the dip. Don't go out too far on anything. Also, the tell this week, and it's my job to tell you this because A, I want to. B, I trade it. The tell will be the size and the aggressive. The tell this week will be the size and the size of the aggressive sweeps of the option flow this week. After we had some earnings this past week, they mostly with financials. There's the playbook this week's. That will be the tell. You know what I mean? Nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. Tesla has earnings, or Tesla has earnings, or Netflix has earnings. Morgan Stanley, anybody out here, Goldman, if they act well, that's the crowd holding up in a tape. If they start taking option flow, you might not be right that week. You don't want them to see weeklies. You want them to see, at least go into, maybe late November, January, December, God forbid they go into January. So what I wanted to do in my notes before I press the levels, or before I post S&P levels, were geopolitical news is really more important than economic news. The earnings report may skew things for a little bit as the VIX actually has abated. So keep that in mind. For those out there that don't really care about going out further, you really don't have to. Here's a playbook before I gave you the playbook for the week and the earnings. Be aware of the stocks you have that will have what I call pin action, predicated upon those earnings moves. Certainly, if you're in Morgan Stanley, be aware of the other investment banks. That's an antiquated saying. LVS, obviously, you have to aware of the MGM and Caesars, things like that. Okay, let's keep going. Earnings to play this week. The next few weeks are historically very strong in the S&P. Are you going to fight seasonality? It worked at the end of beginning of October. Top performing groups this year so far. Everybody should know these are the top performing groups. You don't know what the top performing groups are, go into another site and look what's computer or software database. You should be going over every one of these charts. It's your job. You just don't learn how to change an oil on a car, on a BMW, and then expect to know how to change an oil in every other model. You got to look at them all. What was I looking at? The rest of the TGH routine this week. There I am again. I can watch myself. Actually, I'm not that vain. I'm not vain at all. Okay. Let's continue for what's going on this week, please, because this is going to be in the video. Okay. Managed money is back. The only to a large net short position in gold. Do your own diligence. Due diligence. Same here. It says the picture. Roadblocks. BlackRock withdrew $13 billion from its long-term investment funds. Cash on the sidelines. I'll take the under. Hedge fund Ray Dalio says there's a world war now, 50% odds. I'll take the under for a nickel. Again, go over these. As small caps now underperforming the S&P by the largest in 22 years. Once again, we're not going back like to COVID levels here. We're going back to several crashes, several disease, just a lot. What's happening. Even 9/11. Okay. Friday's movers with range and volume. It doesn't matter. This is for those active traders that only trade price action. This is what matters. This is what matters. The levels from Friday, all these are in play today. I'm sure. Okay, sentiment I posted again. Let's go into the main room. Thank you, Gold, for posting. Guys, we're very active this morning. We appreciate it. This morning I posted the morning rundown by Goldman. I didn't give an opinion about what this means. Well, I'm Tony P. I didn't. By the way, Tony Pistachio is not named after Tony P from Goldman Sachs. Although I'm sure Tony Pistachio would take that as a compliment that one of the head macro guys at Goldman is also Tony P. And it might be vice versa. Okay, the money chart is at S&P. I don't know. This is what I see on the S&P. These are the levels. Let's look at the wise guys are doing. They'll post them. BlackRock raises U.S. Treasuries to neutral. All right, big deal. S&P I want to post. It was last night, I believe. Here we'll go with the S&P. This is the Jesus feed, by the way, keeping in mind that fear and greed is still here. Rotation is still prevalent. They're not going to let me go back that far. All right, no problem. Let's go right here. As long as we're here. APO, Shell. What is this? Fed Powell speaks, 12 o'clock, 10:19. 10:19. Powell speaks. That's the big one. All right. So today's what? The 16th. He's speaking 16, 17, 18, 19. He's speaking Thursday at 12 o'clock. That's everything. You know what I mean? That's like if you're in the lotto, you're drawing for the billion. That's the lotto drawing. Although I consider myself a risk manager, we don't look at it that way. Widening swaps has Fed pooping their bloomers again. We'll go over that later. Walmart, as I told you, taking calls. Walmart again taking calls. Okay. This is all that matters now because it is an early Monday. TGH, anybody participating? No. Get out of here. This is it. The playbook. Okay. We don't want to pause that. New share. We'll stick to that screen. We'll stick to this. This should all be going right now, even for myself, because I really didn't have a chance to. I actually traded and thought later. Now I'm going to start thinking more. I'm going to post some more levels here. So what do we have? TPST, a former low floater. SQQQ is near the low. Bullish. Tesla. Qs. Pfizer. We posted that out this morning. Nice change. Riot acting well. Leibu actually a little bouncer. Amazon acting well. TLT down. CLSK. NIO nothing. UVXY still on the lows. You want to see something on UVXY? Citibank. Plug. Schwab. Where's the low? Oh, good. I'm short that. UVXY. Let me post my, look at this. You know, I don't want to look. I had UVXY overnight long, and I woke up at 4:01 this morning. I swear on Tony Pistachio, I sold 14,000. I believe it was like, I woke up and the futures were up, and the VIX was up like 3 or 4%, and I was long the UVXY. And I'm saying to myself, if I lose a certain amount, I'll be psyched. And when I woke up, I was down like a 10%, a fraction of what I would have been down. And I punted all the UVXY. As a matter of fact, I'll be a professional. Hold on a second. Where did I punch my UVXY? Here it is. Today. Let's look at the UVXY screen. We're on UVXY. Let's look at settings. Show, that's reading the tape. Showing a highlight. Let's go to 3:30 a.m. Mike V was up. Where am I punting all my UVXY? Where are the trades? I'll have to go further. Here I am. Selling all the UXY. Look at that. Further, I'm selling it where? 1762. I'm selling more at the top of the day. UVXY 1798. And a lot of it. Then you could wake up this morning with it open. 1690, 16. So the bottom line is I get out the majority of it, 1793. The low was 16. I would have been down to professional trade. If it didn't work right away, that's why the market's up today. It just took a leap down. If there was no, Europe was kind of strong. Still, it was like the Friday job. It was like the other Friday into the war. Europe really wasn't down that much. There was no exogenous event, at least until, you know, it was a testy week. And I woke up, you know, I was obviously cognizant of what was going on over the week. And I even watched 60 Minutes for the first time in probably 10 years. So I watched how the Nikkei was opening. I watched, obviously, the currencies open at 4 o'clock Eastern yesterday on a Sunday afternoon. Then Europe wasn't down that much. And I'm like, if they're not blasting them, there's not that much fear, then the VIX might be here. So I punted everything. So I said I got out of it. So I took it over. I took UVXI over the weekend. Let's look how much I have. Where's my position here? Settings, position info. I have 3,800 shares now from 1755. Fine. I actually had 14,000 from 18. And I bought a little bit more on the low. I bought a little bit more dipping. Where's my average price? There's my average price right here. 1755. You know what? I'll move on. UVXY. I don't mind having a little protection. Let's go to some other movers. By the way, what was most important here was my plan and how I watched it. I watched the currencies and open at 4 o'clock Eastern yesterday. I watched the futures, by the way, which opened up marginally, and they had a chance to sell them off. They didn't. They did a little drifter at 6 o'clock Eastern, also with gold and the other commodities. I watched the Nikkei and the other Asian markets open, 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern. I woke up at 3:30 to see where the European markets were open. They were held in there. Then at 4 o'clock, our basic markets opened, and then I repositioned. I had a plan. UVX, maybe something would have happened by the time I went by it. It was okay. I was okay with the trade. So let's go to top gainers on the day. TPST. Look at this bastard. They delayed it. This was in play. For those that new share. For those that watch, am I sharing? I don't want to pause. TPST, stocks at price range action, and whatever. I don't trade those stocks anymore. You kind of have to trade them exclusively. PCTI, PRTA. Hopefully one of my stocks is on here. Lulu, BE Energy. Look at this freaking thing up like this. Look at Lulu. That was the breakout. All right. And they took up the other ones. Kohl's, I can't believe they saved me. Kohl's is 19. It's really ripping. I sold a lot of it, 1870, but I'll take 19. I'm still in some of it. Kohl's, AUPH, SGM, Herbalife, that took SGH. Look at this freaking thing. They bagged me in this one. It was 1263 was the low. The high was 14, $2 move. SGH. Mike V was selling. I'm still long a little bit, and I'm fine with it. Believe me, that's not including my price from my averaging down price. What else is moving? Let's look at what's moving down. as Alexis is probably sending me as I speak, what's moving down as the market's moving up on the day. Percent losers, let's go percent losers, intraday. What's giving back? AMAM gave it all back. First of all, let me change this on my parameters. Settings, let's go back to 9:30 a.m. By the way, anybody that has Sterling should be watching. This is how I do it. AM, how you doing? You woke up this morning. You had a home run. You woke up and pulled the Mike V at 4 in the morning. The stock was $16 and it closed at like 9. Beautiful. You walked Tony Pistachio. You came back. It was 12. That's okay. You took a shower. It was 10. That's okay. You came back. It was 8. So you thought you had a score. You gave it all back. Now it's down on the day. Amen. Got to be quick. Okay. Sassy, UVX on there. VFS. I fooled around with it. BTD. Look, what they're giving back all now is a biotech that popped, a couple of the reverse ETFs, all reverse ETF. The fix is down $1.70. Oh, they gave it all back. Wow. What's moving now? How about this percentage gain is 15 minutes now? TPST, AMAN bouncing, HMY, the golds. Where's GFI? Is it under GFI 1420? That hurt. That just bounced nicely. When I came on the air, the freaking thing was 1420. I'm in that. My average price is 1396. Here's my average in GFI. I don't want it. I'm getting out of it. And you know what? This AU should have been the other one. That's why the GFI was the squeezer. AU wasn't the squeezer. AU was down like 90 cents, but I took the one that did short squeeze. See this AU? I took the wrong one. It's a crowded position. AU is a better chance to short. GFI hanging in there. AU not. Let's look at the other ones. Newmont. Ooh, some of them, I don't get these. AEM. Bifurcated sector. GFI, I'm bidding. Getting out. Anybody have any questions? Where's the room? I got 19 windows open. That's okay. A sweep was just detected. What's the sweep? Sweep. I'm going to finish in a second. My point is that I wanted everybody to know what the routine was this week. Square bearish, APO shop, calls. I'm shorted. GFI, market just bounced. Shopify. Why did I short Shopify? Damn it, I was just up in this too. Shopify, market's still going. Shopify. I'm gonna leave with this. I was up in it nicely. Shopify came into resistance. There's the daily. There's the weekly. I got some resistance here. I was up nicely. See, I came on the air. It was up nice. I'm up 4,200 shares. I'm probably going to cover it. Dollar General. Birkenstock, bad sell, Mike V. 36. I'm eating dollar in it. Didn't make the meat of the trade. I'm aggravated. It's rotation right now. It's clearly rotation. Apache oil's going up now. Where's my QS? Bitch. Coin, AI, ARM, Melgo, WBA, Birkenstock, Coles. I'm in that. ANF. What a bitch. Look at this ANF, my God. All right, so what's going on? Square taking action. I was long Devon. I'm short Devon. Why am I short Devon? I'm short 5,000 from 58.90. Why? The worst of breed. Exxon came back below the moving averages. Chevron waffling a little bit. Let's look at Apache, which was coming back. Maybe it's Apache coming to the 50-day. But I shorted Devon. It's the worst. I mean, I have to be patient in this. Listen, there are better trades, but this is the trade if I want to short an oil, which I did. I'll leave it at there, guys. Any questions? A lot going on. Verizon at the highs, XBI at the highs. The Schwab CEO on CNBC right now. You bastard. I'm in this. My price is 53.20, but he's on CNBC now. Look what I was looking at. My news right here. Schwab CEO on NBC at CNBC 11:18. He's on. It's all right. We'll freaking go right in the front of him. Weak stock's a weak stock. All right. Do I have any questions, gents? All right. bottom line is I want everybody to know that I want, because for those that miss it and those that aren't aware, this was basically the data going into the week of emerging markets, sentiment in gold, most actives, earnings for the week, basic macro charts. You have to be in the room to get to know what's going on. Ooh, Schwab. All right, so what am I going to do in Schwab here? Got to be in the room. All right. Coach gives the macro views, and by the way, has been trading exceptionally well. You can get his macro views and well as my replays on TradeGATEHub. I'm just going to tell you how to trade it. Listen, as I said before, I wanted to start off with notes, but I got a little bit distracted. Don't do anything except for Coach going out for 2 years long on gold, which seems to be working. Look for some red to green moves. The CTAs are biased down. Earnings, obviously, watch for the flow. So there's everything for the short term, the day trader, the mediate, somewhat intermediate trader, not so much long-term trader. I'll be posting the ES levels I'm looking at until then. I'll post what the sharp guys are doing. Until, I posted range, price action, and flow. I'll be in the room for questions. It's an active week, having a plan, readjusting all the time. Thanks for tuning in. It's time to go watch Coach's video, his replay, which already garnered 100 views in an hour. So Coach is averaging like freaking 2 views an hour. He's getting there, not bad. Two views a minute. That's not bad. All right. Until then, please be in the room all week. There are no bad questions. I had to start somewhere, and there's no ego in this room. There's only good answers. So until then, thank you for tuning in. Have a plan and cheers.